Hello everybody, Todd Kelley, CMM319, second presentation. I'm here again today to discuss empowerment. Today's discussion about empowerment includes the sense of entitlement and leadership accountability, two big issues hitting our workplaces today. Basically, the question I ask is, what does all this mean? Well, we know empowering our employees for their success results in our organizational successes. Now, in today's era, some leaders feel that younger generations entering their workforce have a sense of entitlement. Now, these me generation employees believe that they should be rewarded no matter if they do anything or not. Basically, I ask you, why is this happening? My answer to you is a lack of accountability. And that lack of accountability is coming from leaders within organizations at all levels. Now, unfortunately, we want to blame the generational gaps for these issues, but in researching this information, my comments, what I'm about to say, is basically generated from a news article from CBS News that I found online. There was an article published, and I'll read to you right here. The article, "Great Leaders Drive Accountability, Not Entitlement." And it was written by Steve Toback, who's a contributor for CBS News. Now, in reviewing this article, Steve talks about how we want to blame the younger generation, the sense of entitlement, it's all about me, nothing for you type of workforce. Now, he doesn't agree, and neither do I. I believe that the leadership within the organizations are basically breaking down. And basically, when you're talking about accountability, that's what's breaking down. And you have to make that change from the top. And unfortunately, it's going from top to bottom in the breakdown mode. So basically, that accountability failure results in employees not performing at the standard at which you want them to do. Now, basically, what do you do if the employee does not perform at the standard? You hold them accountable. Why continue to give or keep a privilege for a lack of performance? Now, we must recognize failure, and we must not reward for it. Rewards are for success. Now, entitlement, it's nothing new. It's not an organizational goal. It's not part of a business formula. It's a challenge from our employees daily to get something for nothing. And we're seeing that every day. What do we do? What changes that? Basically, as he said in the article, it's something that I deal with in my current employment, accountability. As leaders, we must hold our line level employees, our line level supervisors, our line level managers, all the way up to, yes, the executives. We must hold them accountable. And if you're not being held to those standards or those organizational goals, it's a failure. Now, through the years, our levels of leadership have deteriorated. We've seen that. What's causing that? Well, is it a fact that are we not choosing the right leaders? Are they being influenced by the younger generations? Basically, is it a threat? Is it a threatening behavior from a younger workforce? Well, with those issues in mind, I think we're turning empowerment into entitlement. It's giving a culture to go to. Basically, my question to you here in the audience is, what do we do to stop this turmoil of the workforce? And I'm just going to be right out blunt with you. We got to grow a set of kahunas. We have got to do our job. We have got to be doing the responsibility that was given to us to manage, supervise, and hold employees accountable for what we expect them to do and the results they're to produce. If we don't, then what happens is we'll change the culture. We'll change it. We'll put it into an entitlement mode and then cause failures for all organizations. If we don't get a hold of ownership and accountability at the employee stages, all the way up to the executive offices, then look for failure. We're going to have to do our jobs, and we're going to have to do it. And it's an unpleasant situation holding somebody accountable. Now, let's go back to empowerment. It basically goes hand in hand with accountability. As Steve's article says, they have to be a part of the organizational goals for success. Now, to make sure that all levels are doing what they're supposed to be doing as far as leadership, me as an assistant executive or a vice president type level person, I've got to make sure that I'm evaluating our employees, the leaders, and holding them accountable to their jobs and what they're responsible for. We've got to continue to train and evaluate and give feedback on both the good things, positive, and the negatives, which could result in basically sanctions. So if we fail to do so, accountability will cease. We just can't expect to put the workforce out there and say, this is what you've got to do it, and call us when it's over. It can't be done. As a leader, we thought that empowerment was to allow the employee or leader to, quote, be whatever you want to be, do whatever you want to do, and have whatever you want to have as long as you believe in yourself. And that was about empowerment. That was about giving self-sufficient prods and pushes to employees to go out and do the job. Well, in our effort to gain that confidence in themselves and to believe in their abilities to work and achieve those goals and objectives, basically they took advantage. They exploited the situation, especially the younger generation. That's how they were raised. That's how they grew up. That's basically, they didn't have to work for anything. Everything was given to them. But as leaders, we have to change this. And I read an article, it's been years back in a law enforcement journal, and I can't quote the source, but basically I read where some of the change has come about based on our laziness and our ever declining work ethics and our sliding scale of morality. And in final, one of those, it also has to do with the gray area of integrity. And it's basically running rampant among the workers in our corporations. Now, another influence is our greed and our unhealthy desire for more and more. The mentality has spread throughout the entire levels of the organization. It's just not at the construction worker. It's not at the assembly person. It goes all the way up into the leadership role. It's basically shot accountability in the foot. Now, in the end of the article, Steve reinforces the fact that we cannot accommodate the entitlement-minded individuals. We've got to change that culture or to keep it from happening. As long as we have the strong leaders, and that's where it sets at. It's at the leadership level. As long as we have those strong leaders, then great work cultures will come up. Now, when you do that, you should see a reversal. The reversal of entitlement. And to get entitled, and from the reversal should come accountability and empowerment. You should see that strong. We must empower individuals. Again, I keep saying the word empower, but you must hold them accountable. And when those two work together, you will have a success.